What's up? Hey, it's Ivan. And in this video, I wanted to give you a review slash summary again of the book Great Leads, the 6 easiest ways to start any sales message. I had to buy the book on Kindle, Amazon Kindle, just because the physical copy is about $1,000. So it's really expensive at this point. So unfortunately, if you're a physical learner like me and you want the actual physical book, no can do unless you want to spend that money. Okay, so let's get kind of into the summary and then I'll finish off with the review and what I thought of it. So the book covers the following topics: why the lead is important, what is a lead, what is the rule of one, the difference between a direct and indirect lead, the concept of reader familiarity, and the six lead types and the rules surrounding them. So I'm going to give a brief summary on those. The book covers it in much more detail, has many more examples, has kind of what to do, what not to do for each of those, but I'll just cover the basics. All right. So the first thing is, what is a great lead? They're saying. So the lead is basically the hook with which you attract your audience, right? So that's the most important part, because no matter what you have afterwards, if you can't attract that reader to your print, to whatever it is you're selling, I mean, you won't sell. That's 100%, right? Unless it's people that already know your stuff and that see that, hey, here's an item that I want from a company that I know, let me just click on it, right? Unless you're targeting those people, really, you won't have much success unless you have a lead that captivates that particular audience. So the next thing is, what's the rule of one? So they basically say how you need to focus on one thing at a time, right? And again, the book has many more examples, but basically, when you're trying to sell something, don't, one of the most common things we like to do is we like to list out all the features and all the benefits, right? So even if we're not listing all the features, like, hey, this has, four-wheel drive, comfort seating, whatever it is, if you're selling cars, you would say something like convenient, time saver, prestigious, stuff like that. So basically, the rule of one is suggesting that you only stick to one thing. Just because of that, we don't want to overburden your visitors, right? And there was actually an experiment made. In one experiment, I'll put a link down below, where participants were asked about jam. They basically had a ton of jam options to buy versus a few jam options. And what was determined is that people that had a ton of options, they ended up not buying. People that only had a few options slash one option, they were much more likely to buy than people who had a ton of options. And the reason for that is, if you present someone with a ton of options, there's a lot of um, cognitive effort required, right, in order to select what you want. So most of the time, what people did is they said, okay, I'm going to think about it, I'll be back. And when they do that, maybe a few of the people would come back and buy, but the other majority of the people, their buying drive has gone away, right? Once out of sight, out of mind, once they don't see that gem, they don't want to buy it anymore. So we need to kind of make sure that we don't turn people away with too many choices. So that's kind of what the rule of one is. So if you're trying to sell a product, basically, don't say it's going to save you time, it's going to do this, it's going to do this, it's going to do this. Focus on the one thing that item is going to do, and the book illustrates with many examples that it's just so much more effective to do that. So the other thing is basically direct versus indirect lead and reader familiarity. So this is a little thing I got from the book, from the Kindle ebook. So actually, when I first started, I used to think that there's only this one type of customer that's going to buy from us, right? So if I were, when I first started affiliate marketing, I was trying to sell some products, and I would just put in one kind of one advertising slash one landing page for everyone, and I would think, hey, this is going to sell. Now, the problem with this is there's a bunch of different people on a variety, on a different spectrum, right? So here, by Gene Schwartz, one of the more popular copywriters, he called this the 5 levels of awareness, and you have people that are most aware to unaware. So basically, he's saying that in order to sell your products, if you want to target those people that are most aware, you need to use the direct leads. If you, or not need to, but it's going to be more effective, most likely, right? He's not saying there's hard proven fact, but more likely, like, this is what would help you, this is what you should do. For unaware prospects, people that don't even know your product, don't know that they have a problem, you should use indirect, right? So direct marketing is basically, hey, buy this product, it's $10. Here's the name of the company, here's the name of the product, 10 bucks. Indirect means not even mentioning the product at all, all right? And that's kind of the difference between the two. And so in terms of this reader familiarity, you need to understand that there's at least these 5 types of people that are out there. There's people that already know about your product, that want to buy it, and all they need to know is the price. They need to know the price, the where, the why, the how, not the why they just need to know the price and the like where they can buy it, right? To unaware people that have no idea you exist, have no idea they have a problem. And the lowest hanging fruit are these people that are most aware, right? They're the easiest to sell, but you need to have kind of an audience list, right? You need to have a people that know you already, to trust you, to know what you're about and what your product is about. So if we look at an example of, say, apples, right? Suppose you're hungry and you want to buy apples, and you, for example, you are an apple selling company. So these 5 different types of consumers maybe would be something like this. Suppose your company X, right? The most aware customers would be saying, hey, I know your company X, I know they sell apples, I'm interested in buying apples, what have you got to offer? So the type of advertisement you should run to them would probably look something like company X selling apples, 5 bucks. Okay, that would be the most effective, because if I already know what I want, why would you waste my time telling me kind of a story, right? I don't need that. I know what I want. I want apples. I want it from company X. I'm gonna go there, right? So that's most aware. Product aware would be something like, I'm hungry. I know I want apples, but I'm not sure kind of which company I want to go with. There's company X, there's company Y, there's company Z. So what you have to do as a seller is kind of tell me how your company is different from the others, right? So now instead of saying company X, apples for 10 bucks, that's not enough for me. Now I need to know, why is your company different from the other? So that's how you would kind of structure your message that way. It's going to be a bit different. Then there are people that are solution aware. So they don't know that there is a product, but they're saying something like, hey, I'm hungry, so it must mean that I need apples. Now, what can I do to get apples? And then here's where you would say something like, hey, there is a company that actually sells apples, right? And we can sell these apples to. So that's what you would do as a seller. This is kind of the message. So do you see the difference in the types of messages you would bring to the people? Completely different, right? And people would react differently. If you bring this direct message to someone who's only solution aware, they're gonna say, what the heck is that? What's company X? What are apples, right? Something like that. So that solution aware. Problem aware means they only have a problem. So their stomach is rumbling. They're saying, hey, my stomach is rumbling. I probably need to do something, right? That's kind of where they're at. They don't even know that they're hungry. They don't know they need apples. So you kind of need to just link the problem and the solution together and say that you can offer it. And then there's unaware people that are saying, hey, I'm getting this weird feeling. Oh, turns out it's my stomach rumbling. Turns out I'm hungry. Turns out I want apples, right? So kind of that's basically the difference, using this apple example to illustrate the difference between these at least five different spectrums of people. Because obviously you can't sell, right? Again, if we go back to the example, if you say company X selling apples for 10 bucks to people that are unaware, that don't even know that they're hungry, don't even know they need apples, you're not going to be successful whatsoever selling it to those people, right? So with this book, I was kind of able to change it to realize that, hey, there's more than one type of customer in the world, right? So the 6 types of leads he talks about, and again, he's got a ton, the authors have a ton more examples, but for example, for direct, you need to do an offer lead. So straight to the offer, pick the brains of a millionaire for 10 bucks, buy Apple from company X for 10 bucks, whatever, right? You're going straight to the offer because you don't need to do much work. They're like, offer leads are very simple. Anyone can do them. Hey, buy this for 10 bucks. This is kind of like the novice marketing that everyone is doing when they first start, right? They think that, hey, all they have to do is present the product, and it is true, but only to these people that are most aware, right? So the next type is the promise lead. So it's something like build your memory in 4 short weeks, how to win friends and influence people. So notice it's a promise. You're not really directly mentioning a product, right? So you're just saying something that these people that are product aware, they want to do. They want to build the memory in 4 short weeks, right? That's what we talked about in the example. They want apples. They just don't know that you can offer it to them. So that's what you're going to say. You're going to say, we are different from competitors because we're going to do it for you in 4 weeks, for example, or how to win friends and influence people. People that don't even know they have a social problem, they're not going to want to read that book, right? That book is best made for people that want to make friends, want to influence people. So then again, you have the problem solution lead. So this is something like in between people that are product aware and solution aware. You would link the problem and the solution, right? So you would say, are you struggling with XXX? Here's what we can do. Do you have this problem? Here's what you can do. It doesn't always have to be a question. Like over here, it says, 5 familiar skin troubles. Which do you want to overcome? So again, problem, solution. Okay, and that's kind of for these people that are solution aware. They know that they need a solution. This kind of links it for them, right? Makes it like connects the dots. Next thing you have is a secret lead. The book's got a really nice example of kind of a person selling by taking the item out of this velvet pouch, which you'll read about. But basically, it's saying, you know, offer this secret that people are into, and this works best for someone who is, say, between solution aware and problem aware, right? Next, you have a proclamation lead. So this is someone who is just problem aware. Hey, my stomach's hurting. What do I do? So here's the blah 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 blah. Here's the 5 foods you should eat to reduce your stomach pains, right? And then that's going to draw you in. For people that don't even know that they have to eat a food to solve their stomach problems, they're gonna get hooked and they're gonna say, "Oh, I have a stomach problem. Let me read that," right? And then, of course, the indirect is a story lead. So this is the most indirect. This is for people that have no idea they have a problem. The example I have here is actually really cool. So it reads, "Dear reader, on a beautiful late spring afternoon 25 years ago, 2 young men graduated from the same college. They were very much alike, these 2 young men. Both had been better than average students. Both were personable, and both, as young college graduates, were filled with ambitious dreams for the future. Recently, these men returned to their college for their 25th reunion. They were still very much alike. Both were happily married. Both had 3 children, and both, it turned out, had gone to work for the same Midwestern manufacturing company after graduation and were still there. But there was a difference. One was a manager of a small department of that company, the other was its president." So that's kind of a story. Notice there's no mention of any product anywhere whatsoever because people don't even know they need a product. So you need to connect the dots from the very beginning. So now after reading this, I mean, what's your first question? Your first question is, hey, what's the difference? How can I, right? That's the question you're asking. You're asking yourself, how can I kind of become a president, right? What is that difference that's going to turn me from manager to president, right? It says there was a difference, right? It hooks you in. So now you're thinking they're using kind of your own weapon against you, because if you say you want something, then you're going to get it. If I tell you to buy something, you're not going to get it. You're only going to get it if you know you need something. So here it's saying, right, the other was his president, and then here's they're saying, so what is this difference? The difference is the Wall Street Journal, right? So you are realizing the problem, you're realizing there is a solution, and now these Wall Street Journal copywriters are saying we are that solution, okay? So again, notice the difference. They made you realize in the story, they made you realize your problem. Hey, my problem is I'm not a CEO of a company. They made you realize there is a solution, and then they went on to connect it to their product. They didn't go to their product right away, which is something you would do under your direct leads, okay? So this is a really good example of kind of the story lead you would bring and offer to the table to the most indirect leads. By the way, I said earlier, the direct leads are kind of the most lowest hanging fruit. So you were thinking, why not just focus on them? Absolutely, you can, but they are the lowest hanging fruit for everyone as well, right? So if you're targeting someone like indirect people, it's much harder to get into. It's much harder to persuade them to buy. Instead of just saying, hey, buy product X, and they buy product X, now you have to take them through maybe a series of steps, a series of funnels. You need to persuade them. You need to build a connection with them. It takes much more work. It's something not everyone can just do off the street. You need to build that rapport with people. That's why it's not the lowest hanging fruit. But if you can nail it, if you can make it right, you will be very profitable, very successful, because not everyone is going to target those people that don't even know they need your product, right? Because they're the hardest to reach. So in conclusion, I really found this book to be useful for me when creating ads. Like I said, I used to think that there was just this one audience. Not so. This makes you think, and in the back of your mind, even if you just read the book once. I read the book twice. I did read it 2 times. Um, and I recommend you take notes and then you come back to it every once in a while as well, so it kind of sticks in your brain. Because uh, it will basically have in your mind that what was I saying? That there's more than one type of audience, right? There's not only one, and this allows you to keep that in the back of your mind so you can structure your ads and your landing pages accordingly, and your entire funnels actually too, and your email sequences, right? Everything. So maybe even create a different variations for different groups that you're targeting. So if you're in the affiliate bootcamp, Russell Brunson calls this the warm, hot, and cold traffic. But he actually, when he drew the graph in that affiliate bootcamp, he actually drew this exact same kind of spectrum of direct to indirect leads, right? People that are most aware to people that are completely unaware. And this is especially useful for Google ads and Bing ads and Yahoo ads. Not a big fan of Yahoo, but this is especially useful for those because keywords. You can input keywords. You know exactly what people are looking for. Are people looking for your product, which you can say as a keyword? Are people looking for something to cure their problem? Are people looking for something that's not even, they're not even sure what that problem is? And that's how you would kind of write these ad copies and structure your ad copies based on that, right? So based on where my audience is, I will make a different ad copy for every single one. So like I said, in the ad groups, for Google AdWords, I will make separate ads now for different people targeting different keywords because that's a must, right? Before I didn't do that. I put the same copy everywhere. Now after reading the book, if there's one thing you learn from this book, just know that there's no one ad copy that will seal the deal for you. You do need different ad copies for different groups. And I said not so much Facebook ads because Facebook, you don't know who's at what stage. You target interest groups, but there could be a variety of people in those interest groups, right? So Facebook and Google are kind of two different things. Facebook is more so, I would say, in the product slash solution aware, probably because people are just scrolling through your newsfeed, right? And they selected that group. They put an interest to that group, whatever you're doing. So I wouldn't say Facebook is more so those direct leads, people that already are most aware of the product. They may, but I would say most of the people there would be between product and solution aware, okay? And that's how you can target and reach those people. So that's about it. I hope this was useful for you. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. For those of you that have subscribed, thank you. I do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. I will put my affiliate link for the affiliate bootcamp and this book as well if you want to check it out on Amazon, on Kindle. It's like 15 bucks or so on Kindle compared to the $1,000 for a physical copy. So check it out. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, like I said, leave them down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you read the book and kind of if there's any changes you made, or if you want to buy the book and then after you read it, kind of what happened, right? How did it go? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.